Hey, it's Tuesday at 2, Circle B Diecast here in Concord, North Carolina. So glad you have joined us talking racing. Yes, indeed. We are having a ball, that is for sure. Glad you've joined us here on our normal channels and TikTok. I see you down there. Yeah, trying something. We've added a little TikTok to the game, and good to have you TikTokers rolling along with us as well. So fun stuff. Really is good, and we are so glad you joined us. What we're doing on this segment of the program now is we're talking racing. I'll mention to you that the race winners from Talladega are available. Ross Chastain's car is available for pre-order. Get those pre-orders in, but we're not going to do as much selling. We're going to do more talking here. Also know that coming up at the top of the hour, Jonathan's going to be in here, 3 o'clock, and he has got an auction for the ages. Oh, man, I'm telling you what, we're wheeling and dealing here. And so, yes, so Jonathan is going to be selling cars right here on this same channel. So great fun, great stuff for sure. And we are glad you joined us here on our Facebook Live channel. So having a great time, that's for sure. And what a great time it was down at Talladega Super Speedway. Victor is here. Scott is in the house. Daniel is here as well. John Zip is here. Clay checking in. Scott again. Oh, thank you, Scott. Hair is I'm having a good hair day. Andrew, and Andrew says the GoPro paint schemes are available too. Yep, absolutely. Those cars from Bristol looked really, was it Bristol? No, it was Martinsville Night Race. They looked awesome. Those GoPro cars did. So yes, so get your Ross Chastain and or Daniel Suarez diecast. Grab them, take them, use them, enjoy them, and move forward. So yeah, we're pumped about the various diecast offerings and all that we have going on. So let's talk a little bit about Talladega. Ross Chastain did get that second win. And if you have a question related to NASCAR, type it right in, or short track racing for that matter. Type it right in there in the comment section, and that'll give us a little bit more to talk about. So pumped up for sure. And great weekend out at Talladega Super Speedway. If you would have told me that the final stage of the Talladega race would have gone caution-free, I'd have called you nuts. And while they wrecked coming to the checkered, that final stage of that race went caution-free. How about that? Now, what are the odds they can do that again in the fall? Boy, I didn't think they'd do it one time, that's for sure. So what a great time at Talladega. Thought that Jones boy in the King's car was going to get the win. But you could kind of tell into 3 and 4, he got a little too big of a lead. And when you get too big of a lead and they get a run on you, then it's batten down the hatches time. Choose which one you're going to defend against and see what happens. Well, Eric Jones chose to defend against Kyle Larson, and Ross Chastain, the old melon man, hung a left and went right down to the inside and picked up the win. As we mentioned, his second career win. And just great to see Ross Chastain and that whole Trackhouse team having success. Fun stuff. And two-time winner for Ross Chastain, picking up the win at Coda, picking up the win at Talladega, ironically in the same race car, which is fascinating. And I think it's by design. But it's fascinating that that car did that. So so Ross Chastain picked up the big victory on Sunday afternoon, and a great win for him in the big race at Talladega. Noah Gragson was the winner on Saturday in the Xfinity Series race. That diecast is available as well. And Nick Sanchez picked up the win in the ARCA Menard Series race, a thriller there. Motor Racing Network, we had coverage of all 3 of them, and it was a great weekend at Talladega. I see Chip says, what do you think about Kyle Busch answering questions about his contract? Business can be messy. I think Joe Gibbs came back later on, and the folks at Toyota were talking about it, that it's not easy to replace a company like M&M's. M&M's is going away. For those of you that maybe missed that news, they're going away. But everyone expressed confidence that they could get the thing worked out. Kyle is probably a little more frustrated with it. Coach and the folks at Toyota are working through things, and their desire is for Kyle to continue to race there. But you know, Kyle certainly got the conversation started by letting everyone know that he doesn't have a contract and suggesting that everyone go talk to Coach Gibbs if they want to find out what's going on. So as Kyle can do, Kyle can kind of tell you nothing and tell you everything, and his frustration, you could sense it. I actually was in that media availability when he was talking about it, and he wishes it was all buttoned up. I'm fairly confident Coach Gibbs wished it was all buttoned up, and my read on it is I think that they're probably working to line up partners and sponsorships, and you get X number of races and you get Y number of races. And, when you have such a big group like M&M's, it makes it really easy because what is it, 25? I'm guessing I'm pulling 25 out, 25 races. That makes it really easy to say, let's do it again. But when you're doing nickels and dimes and 5 races here and 8 races here, I'm sure they're doing their diligence to put it together. And but I tend to believe that Kyle is going to be there. So I tend to think that that's going to be good. Brooks wants to know, do you think Dover this week will be in the next gen car will be more like short tracks or intermediates? We talked about this. We had a production meeting this morning for Motor Racing Network. We're hoping, because it's supposed to be a little chillier up there. It's supposed to only be in the 60s, I think it is, on Sunday. And we're hoping that track takes rubber and it's more like an intermediate track. Don't really have a good read on that, though. And I'm not sure when we'll have a good read on that. I think the track generally races more like an intermediate track than a short track. I think the the concrete surface is the question mark, and how much rubber gets put down, and that they can widen that track out and put multiple grooves. So I don't know. My hunch is more like an intermediate track. I'd like to see the thing widen out. Remember a couple of years ago when Chase Elliott and Kyle Busch were running the middle, the top, the bottom. But stay tuned. We're going to have to see how this car does. Every week is a test with this thing, and the next big test is Dover. And Brooks, I just don't know what that is and what's going to happen there. So it's all good, fun stuff. Oh, let's see. We got a TikToker. Thoughts on Jeffrey Earnhardt's run with RCR? Do you think he could do more races in the future? I thought that was awesome. I thought that Jeffrey put that together with Childress. They were able to lure Larry Mack out of retirement and do that. I thought that was good. And right there at the end, boy, Jeffrey had the place rocking and rolling as he was closing in on Noah Gragson. So it was wild. I think it's doable again. I don't, it's like everything else. I don't know that we want to have Jeffrey Earnhardt and Larry McReynolds in a black number 3 at every Xfinity Series race, because I think, but I think, like, when I look at the schedule, when we're going to Daytona in July or August, that would make some sense. Super Speedway racing is a good opportunity for a team to come in. Jeffrey has a great skill set there. You don't have to work on the shocks and the springs with a new crew chief like you would at intermediate tracks, and so I don't know. I don't know Germander. I think that's right, Germander. I don't know. I think I tend to believe we'll see it again. I talked to Richard Childress after the race on Saturday afternoon. I saw him Sunday morning, and he was very happy. He was happier about the way Austin Hill's car ran. Remember that race? Austin Hill, woo, man, he was clubbing everybody. So Richard was very happy with that. He got bumped out and taken out of the race. But I think that you might see, and here's the thing, this all generates around money. And Jeffrey Earnhardt has some sponsorship, and they were jumping up and down. I was in their pit on Saturday afternoon, the last lap of that race. They were jumping up and down and having a good time. And so I think that they might want to come back and spend a few more bucks at RCR up in Welcome, North Carolina. So, Ander, on the TikTok machine. Thank you for the question. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Good stuff. All right, over here. Matthew, I saw your letter, sprint car drivers talking about tire shortages. What's your take? We've got a problem in short track racing. That's my take. I don't know when it rears its ugly head. I think it is going to rear its ugly head. I don't know if it's going to be sprint cars. I don't know if it's going to be late model stocks. I don't know if it's going to be Legends cars. I don't know where it's going to be. We have 2 primary manufacturers of tires in the short track world. American Racer, which is the old McCreary company, and Hoosier. And right now, manpower plus lack of nylon plus huge demand is not a combination that is good. We had a sprint car race scheduled for Thursday night in Bedford, Pennsylvania that has been canceled out of concern about teams having enough tires and enough teams coming to that race. That was part of a 4-day weekend for Tony Stewart's All-Star Champion. So Matthew, I think we all need to enjoy every sprint car race we can get to, because I think there is going to be a time real soon when some races are canceled. And I hate to say that, and I hate to see it, and I 100% hope that I am wrong, but I don't think I am. There just is not enough tires right now. And here's the problem. One of our sprint car racers, a guy by the name of Brent Marks, has been kind of the Pied Piper on this thing. Here's the problem is that sprint car racing is very, very healthy right now. You go to your sprint car track, whether it's Williams Grove in Pennsylvania or Silver Dollar in California or Attica in Ohio or Knoxville in Iowa or wherever it is, and you're seeing really good racing with great car counts. If we get to the stage where nobody can afford, or there's no tires, then it impacts the tracks when you go to Williams Grove and see 12 cars in a feature. So I am not optimistic. The big races are going to happen. And Matthew, I know you're a regular at the Knoxville Nationals. That will happen. The big races will happen, but I'm worried about some of the short races, short track races, weekly racing, and when it starts to rear its ugly head, because there just is not enough tires right now. And it's not just sprint car racing. It is the asphalt world as well, dirt modifieds, legends, everywhere across the board. And I just don't know. The problem is this: it's like, we'll make more. Well, first off, we have issues in the supply chain with nylon, and second off, you just can't take Kyle and me, two hacks, if you will, and put us in a tire manufacturing plant and say, make a right rear sprint car tire. It takes 6 months, 8 months, 10 months to get someone up to speed with the craft of building tires. So, I mean, and you get people and you lose people. You get people and you lose people, and so there's all kinds of challenges with it. And I'm just not optimistic. I'm optimistic in the big picture that we'll see a lot of sprint car races and a lot of short track races. But if there's specific ones, I'm not. A specific race could be canceled. So there you have it. Awesome, good stuff. Let's see. Whoa, Victor's coming to Dover. Victor's coming to Dover, so that's good. Good news. Got a VIP pass. Well, of course he's got a VIP pass. Probably has an old entourage coming with him too. I mean, come on. Going to wheel in there in the limo, sipping champagne and caviar, and Victor's got VIP passes for Dover this weekend. John Zip, that is a great question. Did you ever make it to Ransomville Speedway in Western New York? No. And I've had 2 different times where I've had it on my bucket list. One time weather got the best of it, and one time a worldwide pandemic called COVID-19 got the best of it. So I haven't been able to reschedule. I would love to get there. Ransomville is a great little dirt track up in Western New York, not that far from Niagara Falls. And one of the unique characteristics of it, there's actually a moat is probably a little bit of an exaggeration. They call it the moat, but there is you come off the front stretch, there is a moat, then the wall and the fence. And so I need to get to Ransomville. A friend of mine, Jonathan Reed, runs 358s up there, and I love the Reed family. They're not far from there in Lockport. Run a great little hot dog stand, and I need to get up there and have some hot dogs at Reed's and go over to Ransomville sometime, but I've never made it there. But John, I love my short tracks. I love my dirt tracks, and Ransomville is on the list. I'll get there sometime, but it's not on the schedule this year, and like I said, I've had it twice on the schedule. I've had it twice on the schedule. So, but it's got washed out. I see now. Better straighten out. I see the boss man just chimed in. Brent Powell has logged in. Brent Powell, right? Brent's all about the look here. We will have duo Jeffrey Earnhardt, Larry McReynolds diecast once Lionel releases it. There you go. Love it. Good stuff. That is for sure. Yep. So, yeah. So there you have it. Let's see where we're at here. Jeff, let's talk a little bit about that. I think it's an accurate statement, Jeff. We need tire wear. Goodyear keeps bringing too good, a tire lasting too well through a field run to qualify comers and goers. I 100% agree with you. Okay? Here's the thing. You've got tires that are too good. And I agree, and we've had that at times. Okay? You've got what's called the sweet spot that we're all looking for, where those tires wear and we have comers and goers. Okay? What's over here? What's over here is tire failures and drivers getting out and ripping Goodyear new ones, and newspapers writing stories about those lousy Goodyear tires, and television networks like Fox and NBC and radio networks like MRN talking about tire failures. That's not why Goodyear does this. So they, at times, are probably guilty of sweet spot. They get the sweet spot at times. We have some races that are really, really good. Richmond comes to mind. We had a lot of comers and goers at Richmond. When we go to Darlington, they have some good. And then they have some where they're sometimes a little too good. We had that at Martinsville. Now, Martinsville also was impacted by 39-degree temperatures. Okay, so, and the other thing is that we can't just say, oh, weather in Martinsville is going to be cold this weekend. Let's redesign a new tire to go there. So I think it's a challenge. In the perfect world, Jeff, we get that sweet spot. Comers and goers. In the perfect world, we get that. I don't know where you're at. I know where I'm at. It's not necessarily the perfect world. Sometimes things don't work out. And so I think that's a fair assessment of the situation and going from there. So I think they try to hit that sweet spot. I think different tracks, some tracks that don't wear tires. If a track doesn't wear tires, how do you get tire wear? You know, make it softer, make it softer, make it softer, and whoops, here you are. I don't envy Goodyear in this challenge. And then, oh, by the way, this is a brand new race car with brand new tires this year. So everything they're doing is new. So I think that overall they do a good job. But I agree with you. In the perfect world, we could find this balance. And that's their goal. I know for a fact that's their goal. If they're going to miss it, though, I think they're going to miss it this way. Less likely to miss it this way. You would too, because you don't want to wake up as a corporate exec on Monday morning and have millions and millions of people that watch the race on Fox or NBC hear everyone talk about Goodyear tires failing. So they're going to err on the side of caution. I would, you would, any business would, and sometimes we miss that mark of wear. So like I said, I really like that you brought that point up. I love that you brought that point up because I feel like it sounds really, really simple. But these tires are also manufactured weeks and weeks and weeks out. And so a situation like Martinsville, now, what are we going to do by the next Martinsville? Because the one thing we do know about the next Martinsville is it's the last weekend of October or the first weekend of November. It's not going to be 85 degrees and hot and sunny. So what are we doing between now and then? I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see some changes in that tire because it's going to be cold again. But I think it's a challenge, and I think that pendulum there, they don't want that pendulum to go to as you guys are looking at this video, the right side, because that's bad PR, and nobody wants bad PR. So I think that's fine. What else we got here? AJ, will Goodyear Racing or General Tire help local tracks with tire shortages? No. Well, General Tire is the owner of Hoosier. So consequently, there's one and the same. Goodyear will not. It's the process to click your heels together and say, let's devise a dirt track tire is not something that's going to be ready for Ohio Speed Week in June. If Goodyear decided today that they wanted to get in the dirt track tire business, they would probably be looking at 2 years down the road before tires made it, because you've got all of the molds, all of the compounds, you've got agreements in place because you can make tires, but if you can't sell them because Hoosier has an exclusive with the World of Outlaws, why are you making tires? There's just a lot. So I think we're in this for the long haul. Somebody posted a picture of an Australian tire that they say is good on sprint cars. Okay, that's great. But tracks, sanctioning bodies have agreements with Hoosier. I understand Hoosier may or may not be able to supply that, but how are we going to work through this together? And oh, by the way, I don't know if you're familiar, shipping something from China or shipping something from Australia, we see it with diecast, you're just not going to get it timely. You're at the mercy of the shipping companies. And if you don't believe me, talk to anybody that orders diecast, because we see it and we wring our hands in frustration of it as well when we say it's on the big boat. So I don't see that, AJ. I don't see that as an option. I don't know. Here's the problem. Going back to that short track question, Matthew took us right down this short track road, and I'm fine because I'll talk dirt track and short track racing all day long. Here's the thing. I spent all of last weekend in Attica, Ohio, talking to everybody from owners to tire distributors. I've talked to Neil Kalman from Hoosier Tire. I talked to people from other tire manufacturers. I've talked to track owners. I've talked to 360 racers this past week at Talladega Dirt Track. Everybody knows there's a problem. You know what nobody knows? A solution. Stay tuned. What I'm telling you is if there is a race in your vicinity, no matter what it is, a short track race that you want to go to it, go. If you find out it's happening, go. Because I'm not sure they're all going to happen this year. Stay tuned. And again, I hope I'm wrong. But Matthew, you're up there. When IRA comes to your local racetrack up in Wisconsin, go. Because there's no guarantee in July they're going to go to your local track in Wisconsin. I hope they do. And IRA is the local sprint car group up there, and they are fantastic racers. Great, great people. Steve Sinclair is the guy that runs it. I spent time with him in Attica this past weekend. They are wonderful. But when you say, how are you on tires? We don't know. So what I'm saying is if there's a local race you want to go to, go. Go now. Worst case scenario, you get to go again in July. That's the worst case scenario. That's the best case scenario. Yeah, that's the best case scenario. Yeah. Worst case scenario is you don't go now and you don't get to go in July. Got that totally backwards. Anyhow, that is good. So Nate's over on our TikTok, and he said NASCAR is coming to Worldwide Technology Raceway here in St. Louis, and I can't wait. Nate, I can't wait either. It is going to be an awesome weekend, and you know why it's going to be awesome? We're going to be in your area. We're going to be in the St. Louis market, and there's a dirt track, Tri-County Speed or Tri-City Speedway, that is having sprint cars and late models on Friday and Saturday night. Man, I am so pumped up about it, Nate. I can't wait to get to your track. Let's see. Jeff wants to know, is low profile affecting tire degradation for safety? I haven't heard low profile talk at all. I've heard that as far as handling, because you don't have the sidewall doing this, but I haven't heard as far as tire degradation at all. Tire degradation is more the compound of the rubber, the hardness, softness of the rubber, and where that rubber meets the road, if you will. So I have not heard that low profile impacting that as far as that goes. Now, there are adjustments to it as well. Now, there is one thing that impacts it, is because we were dealing with a 15-inch tire, now we're dealing with an 18-inch tire. So they've adapted for width. I think width is a bigger factor than the sidewall. So, because there's more space where the rubber meets the road. And I know that has been factored in to the new compounds of the tire. So it's great question, Jeff. It really is. But I think the width of it is a bigger impact, but I know that's been factored in as well. So I hope I'm wrong. I would love to have NASCAR and Goodyear hit that sweet spot every week, but I think that's unrealistic, because I don't think in the 73, well, I wasn't around for the first few years. Now, Brett Powell was, but I wasn't around, so maybe we can ask him. Oh, I'm in trouble with the boss man. Tire wear, getting the right tire is a challenge. And so I think the fact that they get it right more than they get it wrong is pretty good. So fun stuff. There we go. Yes, indeed. And AJ says the 43 went all 180 without changing left side tires. There was Talladega and Daytona are a different animal. That's not, Dover's one where we're going to have a question, and I don't know what the answer is. So how about that? I don't know about y'all, okay? I used to come in here and used to talk a little bitty bit about racing. Then we would talk about diecast cars, and that's who we are, a Circle B diecast. Or maybe we'd talk about shirts that we have hanging here. Then I would answer 6 questions from people saying, when is Casey Kane's farmer's insurance car going to be available? And I would answer the question and say, I don't have that information. And they would say, oh, okay, good. When is Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s GoDaddy car coming in? And I'd be like, I don't have that information. And they'd say, oh, well, that's cool. Yeah, I totally understand. Totally understand. Jimmy Johnson's Lowe's car. When do you expect that in? You laugh. Kyle's laughing. There are times where, so I don't have access to that. So I don't know about y'all, but I've enjoyed these race talk conversations. Okay. I really have. Norman, your question, you just made it in under the edge. You just made it in by that much, because I was getting ready to say goodbye. How is the part supply shortage coming along with all the teams with this new car? It still challenges in places. Okay, there's some splitter issues. Okay, they dinged up a whole bunch of the underside of the cars. A lot of the plates are going to the cars at COTA, and so they're still getting them there. I will say this, Norman. I learned something at Richmond a couple weeks ago. This industry right now is working together. NASCAR apparently has a pretty good database of who has what. Okay, this is not how they want to do it. But there have been scenarios where if one team is running shy on one particular part because their driver dinged up a couple of them, other teams have it, and other teams might loan or be on standby. And I think, I don't know that there's been a lot of loaning. I think there's been with some small teams. I think the Rick Ware team, someone told me that Stewart Haas Racing single-handedly got one of the Rick Ware cars to one of the races. Now, someone told me that, and that might be an exaggeration. But I think smaller teams versus bigger teams, I think there's more horse trading that goes on. But I know for a fact, and the person that told me this didn't say I could say it, but I know one big team of one big manufacturer was a little bit tight on parts. One big team, and it wasn't related to the manufacturer, it wasn't like an engine. One big team from another manufacturer had a few extras, and those extras were on a truck at a racetrack. Should said big team run into a mechanical problem, they were approved by NASCAR to go to the other big team. The other big team was going to supply them with parts. So I tell you all of that, Norman, to say we've had all 36 charter cars plus the extra cars at all the races. So knock on wood, we've been doing well with that. There's mechanisms in place that has these shortages. And quite honestly, Norman, the last 2 weeks, I haven't heard nearly as much about it as I did. COTA dinged up a lot of parts, as you can imagine a road course would. COTA dinged up a lot of parts. There's a lot of sensitivity to it at Richmond the week after COTA. Seems like they got through Richmond and Martinsville, and everyone's kind of caught their breath a little bit, and the sport is working together. So it is, I think that's a pretty fair assessment, and we're getting closer and closer to that point where teams will be at full inventory. We're not there yet, though. And, complete honesty, now, I'm not Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan saying this, but we came out of Talladega, we didn't have one of the massive 22-car big ones. Again, if I'm Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan, they lost both of them at the final stretch, final run, and some other ones lost cars. But I think that there's probably some people sighing relief that we got through Talladega with, what did we have, probably 8 cars from a couple of them. Chase Briscoe, someone posted about Chase Briscoe. Man, I was bummed to see him get taken out by that. He won a sprint car race on Saturday night. I was bummed to see it. We probably, I'm guessing we had, maybe 8 cars. We've been to Talladega where there's been a lot more than that. So I think every one of these weeks, Norman, to your point, is we breathe a little bit of sigh of relief. It's like, okay, we're closer, and we got through Talladega. There's teams that came out of Talladega with all 4 race cars intact. That's pretty good. So good stuff. Man, it's been great hanging out and chatting here today. I love that we're having race talk. I love your questions from Norman to Matthew to John to AJ up there contributing. I can't wait to see when the entourage and Victor shows up at Dover. Oh my gosh, there's probably police escorts. I just hope I'm not stuck in traffic when that police escort goes through, or I'm going to be flipping one finger off at Victor as he's riding through, pinky up in the air, sipping on his champagne and eating his caviar. I know how you are. I know how you are, Victor, with that VIP pass. Now you're going to have a ball, folks. Get out to the racetrack. We had Nate. Can't wait to get to Gateway, Worldwide Technology Raceway Park. Nate on our TikTok here. Get out to the racetrack. I love it. And if I'm lucky, I'll catch up and see some of y'all at the racetrack. I love it. Had someone at Martinsville, and he's been on the chat room since. Someone at Martinsville. I'm walking down through, getting ready to go interview some drivers. Hey, Postman, we watch you Tuesday at 2. I love it. I love hearing from our Circle B Diecast fans. So, all right, so we're going to get on out of here because I'm sitting here with an empty table. My man Jonathan is coming up at 3 o'clock, and this table is going to be, they've even built new shelving over here on the side. I've been asking for a shelf for years to put my stuff because I got a bunch of stuff, okay? I've been asking for years. Jonathan comes in and selling all of these diecasts because he's giving us good deals. We got shelving over here. We got displays over here. Man, it's going to be good. So this is what you need to do. You need to hang around. You need to put on your notifications so that when we come on, you are ready. Whether it's our Tuesday at 2 talk about racing or whether it's Jonathan coming in with his auction and his sales, every time we come on the air, you need to do it. And he's got one coming up at 3 o'clock. So hang in there with us. He'll be up at 3 o'clock. I'm the Postman from MRN, Steve Post. Great hanging out with you here, talking racing on our Tuesday at 2 broadcast.